Merry Christmas. It is, all thanks to LD Mobile, NBL overtime. We're about to make history, not because anything remarkable happened on the court over the weekend, which it most definitely did, and we're going to get into that very shortly, but we are starting the show one short. I think he's on the phone right now breaking some news. We're going to get to Liam Santamaria soon. Hopefully he joins us in the next moment or two. But first to you, my man. Hello, buddy. How you doing?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey!
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
He's
What's going on?
He's lost some weight. He's lost some weight.
What's going on, Santa? Merry Christmas!
Tell you what, we thought you weren't coming. Hey, hashtag see incredible. Santa is in the house.
Christmas. I got presents for you
Oh,
boys.
please. What do you got?
My thingamajiggy here.
What do you got?
Woo! First for you, Cam. You've been a good boy.
Oh, that's debatable. But yes.
I got you a
Yay! And you know where this is going?
Where?
Straight to Melbourne Arena for the Boxing Day game. It's going to hang from only one of the rims.
One ring, yes.
One rim.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Thank you, Liam.
Thanks,
Santa.
Corey.
What you got for me? What you got for me?
You got to train to look at
I've seen it all.
Oh, my God.
I'm getting rid of the beers.
Tell you what.
Oh, my God.
There you go. Merry Christmas, boys.
Hey.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I, of course, got you Shaq tickets last week, so that counts,
What?
doesn't it? Yeah, cool. Hey, hello, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. I've been getting into the Christmas
You
mood.
talking about look good
Early.
naked. All right.
Let's do
Hashtag
this.
see incredible. The set looks amazing. It's obviously the festive season. The NBL continues. The hoops don't stop, which is the best thing about it. And of course, we watched the game Monday night. We'll see one on Thursday. So while some of us excited for Santa, there's a lot of us excited for what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks on the NBL courts. But the weekend was dominated by some surprising results. It's fair to say that while in NBL 20 it's not a huge stunning upset any time anyone beats someone else, for it all to happen in a short period of time definitely raised an eyebrow. So we're going to start quite simply with the biggest upset or the biggest surprise of the weekend. I'm going to start with you, I believe, Corey Homicide Williams. And yes, Santa's thrown me. You go first.
Well, the biggest highlight for me was Illawarra going into Adelaide in front of the biggest home crowd they've had in the venue and getting a win versus an Adelaide team that just got into the top four, winning two sensational games the last round. So to come home and a game that should have been a guaranteed W, they lay an egg. Shout out to the Illawarra Hawks. They were undermanned. Their imports haven't played well, but somehow they have got it. They got it done that night. And that just goes to show you, this is the last place team in the competition. They didn't look like it that night. Shout out to Sunday Desh, Ogilvy, Nar, Glover. They got it done by committee. And I mean, that was the surprise for me.
Joey Wright said in a timeout early in the game they wanted more. And you can see there the desire, the hustle, the motivation was there. And it just, the issue was, and he alluded to it early, it just continued to grow these confidence of the kids, the greeters. We're going to get to this a little bit later. Ditch, as you touched on, Glover, Harris, who's been really, really good.
Shout out to Harris.
When they get their confidence rolling like anything, away they go in any sport across the world. Joey Wright alluded to it, and unfortunately it came back to be very ironic because they were just smacked in the mouth.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of those young names. They've been outstanding. Some of the veterans have stepped up as well. Ogilvy, I think, is playing really well.
Yes,
And obviously Emmett Nah. Angus Glover, for me, is an elite talent. When he catches it on the perimeter, you just think that thing's down because his stroke is so nice and he's been putting in a lot of work. I'm finding it very difficult to take myself seriously. Cam, for me, it wasn't the upset of the round. Top three teams, going at it for sure, but Melbourne's demolition of the Wildcats. The final score in the jungle was generous to Perth because Melbourne went in and just smacked them around. Perth's defence has been up and down this year. It's not something we're used to saying about the Wildcats, and Melbourne took advantage. Specifically this man, Mello Trimble.
Hey!
And that combination was all kinds of a headache for the Wildcats. And again, you see Trimble starting the offense by breaking down the D and getting 2 feet in the paint. They could not stay in front of him. And that was a big, big win for Melbourne. Close that gap between second and third.
Have you seen Mello Trimble that aggressive off a tip before?
At both ends, too.
Yeah, true.
I mean, he was impressive. No, he looked like he had a look in his eye and knew that he needed to bring it for his team.
For me, Brisbane over Sydney, and not just because of the way the season's gone, because the fact is that Sydney were and probably still are the best team in the league, but it's just the way that it actually played out. Nath Sobey, 3 of 15. Lamar Patterson had a good start, then got in foul trouble and ended up fouling out. Hodgson played 6 minutes. They found themselves double digits down in the second period. In the first quarter and a half, it just felt like, this is how the game's going to go. Sydney are going to win 12, 15 points, and it's going to be sort of status quo. But then they start to get their confidence. Magna, who we'll touch on no doubt, old two-way at some point. I see you spruiking it on Twitter. Was great all night. And that second quarter when he started to hit the three ball really changed the complexion of the game. The fact that they bought into what they were doing as well. So they're guns, and you'd say Sobey and Patterson going into the year, they're two main guys. If they don't fire on the one night, they're probably not going to win. They come out and beat the best team in the league. I thought it was yet again, it's not always certain to say biggest upset or massive upsets in this league, but I was a little bit surprised with the way they went about it. And good on them, and good on you for turning your back. 1 week ago, you were like, I'm off the island, I'm off the island. And then you blow our phones up and Twitter with, I'm back on the island, I've swum back.
It was a great win, really good win. Let's be honest, though. The Kings are managing their loads. So if Bogut plays more than 16, 17 minutes that night, and Casper Ware doesn't come out at his scheduled time when he's starting to heat up, they beat the Bullets.
Well,
they win that game.
Yeah, but
that's what's happening with the Kings right now. They're playing the long game, keeping their older bodies ready and fresh for February and March. And as a result, if you come out and you hit shots, like Will Magnay did, and everybody's chiming in, you're a good chance to beat them.
That sounds like an excuse.
It really does. And
That's
secondly,
what's going to happen.
Just quickly, so you're on the island or off the island?
I'm off the island.
Okay, cool. Wait right there. Hashtag See Incredible to get involved. Hashtag NBL20. Hashtag NBL Overtime. And each and every week, the top 10 plays of the week are all thanks to LD Mobile.
We're through a dozen rounds. It's time to check out the throwdowns at your Aldi Mobile NBL Top 10. At number 10, check out Casper Ware with the hesitation, and then up to Andrew Bogut for the detonation. We start this thing with the Sydney Kings at number 10. On to number 9, where it's Can's time to shine. DJ Newble puts the defender in the blender. It's called the Smitty move in the States as Newble gets loose with a little shake. At 8, Jared Weeks thinks he's Steph in OKC as he lines up the deep buzzer-beaten 3. Right off the Meadow Fresh logo, Weeks uses the glass to get this one to go. The guard from New Zealand, dealing at number 8. On to number 7, and Brisbane leaves an open lane, so Jay-Sean Tate straight delivers the pain. The man wearing Kobe's number delivers the thunder at number 7 for the Sydney Kings. Cairns is back in at number 6 with Fabian Krislovich. Fabian in the right place at the right time to go flying along the baseline. The grit is legit in Krislovich as he gets the rebound throwdown at number 6. Adelaide gets played at number 5 as nobody blocks out Billy Preston at the rim, so he rises up and throws that thing in. Coming in from the ceiling with feeling, it's Illawarra getting in the countdown at number 5. At number 4, it's the same two teams, but this time Adelaide ramps up their D. Eric Griffin tracking back and smacking that shot. Daniel Greta's gonna need a new plan because Griffin's playing defense like a madman at number 4. On to number 3, where Mitch Creek makes a business decision because Scotty Hobson's on an airborne mission. The man from Tennessee breaks free on this rim spree at number 3 for New Zealand. At number 2, oh, you knew it was coming. He's always featured on the countdown. It's Space Cam with the windmill jam. Oliver with a twist you won't want to miss getting in at number 2. But at number 1, tie game with the seconds winding down, and it's Scotty Hobson again. Dagger then swagger. The step back attack breaks the Hawks back as Hobson wins the game and lands at number 1 on the NBL.
Well, thanks to LD Mobile. There it is, the NBL Top 10. what a week. Your man, Scotty Hobson's starting to live.
He is back, and when he's healthy, he is dangerous, as we've saw the last 2 games.
All right, you lost your mind at the NBL blitz over Scotty Hobson, and we are seeing on a regular basis now that he's getting healthy exactly why. But there's another man that you lost your mind over, Will Magnay.
The first maybe quarter in that game, I think 3 of us were doing this game, and although it was against NBL 1, I said, this guy, he needs to get a 2-way contract. Mm-hmm. We saw a breakout performance, and what I saw in this game further strengthened my argument. He's tall, he's athletic, he's hungry, his body is ready. I didn't know he could shoot the 3, but him being able to stretch the floor, I don't care if Bogut didn't come out there, he hit 3s. He went in aggressive, he could take the ball off the dribble when Bogut did come out, and he attacked and finished with the left hand and the right hand. This kid right here could be on an NBA roster. If not an NBA roster, definitely on a G League team. But this is NBA property we are seeing.
Yeah, I mean, his game's got some continued growth to happen. Kid's not 18 or 19, he's 21, right? So you got to look at it with that kind of perspective. But yes, he has an NBA body and he has an NBA skill set that he is continuing to develop. He's not there yet. Would love to, as we've said a number of times, would love to see him at the Summer League this year or next year and see what he can do. You know what's interesting is they started him in the 4 spot in that game. And that opening game of the year in pre-season, he was starting in the 4 spot alongside Matt Hodgson as well, which I think is quite a good look for them. Balances out. I like when they have a big body in that 4 spot. They had a couple of games during the year where they had Mika Vakona in that spot. That worked well. I like this. And then he can slide over to the 5, and that's when he drew Bogut out and knocked it down. Yes, he is an NBA prospect, but he's got some work to do.
So we spoke about when they put this roster together, and of course, Ruben Tarangi is a name that continues to come up with the way they've structured their imports. But they left the 4 spot open. And this is the exact reason we thought might happen in the blitz, his opportunity to slide to the 4. Now, as you touched on, we haven't seen it a great deal yet, but the different ways that it throws both a 4 and a 5, and when Hodgson gets in foul trouble, it's obvious, I think, that that continued growth is going to be able to be afforded to him over the rest of, at least NBL 20, because of the fact they don't have that 4-man that everybody, us included, believe they need to have. Before we go any further, so you come into Santa and now you're wearing a Sydney Kings t-shirt.
I am, an ugly Sydney Kings tee. I'm shouting them out. I'm giving them some Christmas love for being on top of the ladder and for dominating the first half of the year on Christmas.
NBLstore.com.au, of course, the best place to buy these t-shirts and all your late Christmas presents. I actually bought a Looney Tunes
good man.
jersey for my nephew yesterday, actually. So
this did not come from Paul Smith, but it did come from the producer guy, and much love to the Kings.
Yeah, just so we know. Actually, I won't say because maybe one of Guy's family members might watch the show and might ruin the surprise when he unwraps the present on Christmas Day. All right, let's get to the 36ers because they were world beaters a week before. They had a great month, and we all sort of continue to sit here and think that, hey, you know what? Joey Wright's got these guys going the way that Joey Wright does so particularly well. And the weekend just didn't work. It didn't work. Couldn't have been any further away from it. I'll start with you, mate. How disappointed were you? Because you were spruiking, rightfully so, the 36ers as that team to finish 4th. And then they lost and loosened that grip on it over the weekend.
I think that I say it from time to time. The window of opportunity closes faster than it opens. This was an opportunity to give themselves room. Had they won this game from other teams they are fighting with for that 4th spot. And they were not going into Cairns getting it done, especially after a disappointing loss. Cairns watched that game, how they gave it up, and they remember how Adelaide gave it up, and they remember also how they gave a game up against the Phoenix. Mm-hmm. So there was no way Cairns were going to put themselves in a situation where they were going to lose this game. So now Adelaide has to lick their wounds and try again. Can they recover? They probably can. Will they recover is another story.
Yeah, there's no room for complacency in this league. It's too tight, and they were definitely complacent in that loss to Illawarra. You got the bottom team coming into your home court where you've been really good, and you were riding a wave of positivity after the previous week, and they thought they'd just roll through that game. And as Joey said, they got a little individual. They stopped doing the little things, and for the 36ers, the little things means getting down and dirty defensively. Illawarra, if you get after them defensively, you can they're not as organised as other teams, and you can kind of pick them apart and put them under pressure. And they didn't do that, and they're last in the league in defensive efficiency on the season. They're giving up almost 100 points per game on the year, and it's putting a lot of pressure on their offense. So they were built. They obviously made a key change with Deshaun Taylor coming out and Jerome Randall. That changes things a little bit, but they were built to be much better defensively this year. That sparks their running game, and they haven't been that.
Jerome Randall's a stone cold killer. I think we all agree.
Why are you using my words?
What is Jerome Randall?
Taking my captions.
What is?
Yeah, putting it into his commentary right now.
Oh, it's one.
Stone Cold Killer is trademark.
Hang on a second.
I said that this weekend for 3 people, so I knew he saw Twitter and is putting that into his commentary right now.
Well, I'm just doing what you did last week when you broke the news about RJ Hampton on Twitter, and I thought
fair
you were
enough.
there. Either way. Does Jerome Randall, is he allowing the game to just flow too much? Does he need to be more aggressive earlier? This is what I thought on Friday night. He had opportunity to take the game over a little bit earlier, and when he did late in the game, he's almost unguardable. It felt it was too late. And I've noticed it a couple of times. Does he need to do it earlier?
To be honest with you, my opinion, in that game, Sunday Dech did an incredible job defensively on him. And the shots that he were taking, he just didn't hit. Sunday Dech did an incredible job defensively on Jerome Randall. He's longer, he's athletic, he's able to contest a lot of those shots, and he wasn't getting blown by. He's a great on-ball defender. You know, and that was one of the biggest reasons he was able to control and handle Jerome Randall enough to put them in a good position to where he couldn't take over the game like he usually does against a lot of other guards.
I actually thought that they battled pretty well in Cairns. Like, they played much better in Cairns than they did against Illawarra. The way they guarded that on ball at the start of the game with Scott Machado just played into the Taipan's hands. He just drew that strong show out and then found his open teammates, and they ate on the backside. So it's good to see that they did bounce back after that loss to Illawarra, but an 0-2 weekend at this time of the year for a team right in that mix is a problem.
Big opportunity now for Melbourne United, and yes, Stone Cold Killer.
All 3 of those teams that are really fighting for that 4th spot outside of New Zealand went 0-2. Think about this. The week before...
Brisbane beat Sydney.
I'm not talking about Brisbane. Brisbane ain't got nothing to do with this. Cairns the week before went 0-2 to Perth.
Right.
So they're all pretty much in the same situation. Phoenix went 0-2.
Yes.
Adelaide went 0-2. Yeah. So they're all in the same situation.
And as a result, the ladder just got tighter right in the middle.
Yeah. As a result, more need for a 5 playoff game. Tell you what, double overtime Christmas wish list, so I can tell you where I'm starting. Stanton Kidd. Melbourne United have a huge opportunity. 2 years ago, Casey Prather, almost to the day, in the exact same building, I think, got hurt. Same weekend, he got hurt in Wollongong. So, yes, either way, they brought in Carrick Felix. It worked well. Casey Prather come back for the finals and led him to that historic first championship under Melbourne United banner. We're seeing it again. Stanton Kidd, a very similar player to Carrick Felix, comes on in. We'll see if he plays Boxing Day if the registration's gone through. You've seen a hell of a lot of him. Tell us a little more about him.
Oh, well, I haven't seen a hell of a lot of him. We saw him at Summer League playing for the Utah Jazz, and it was interesting. It was a name that Dean Vickerman dropped. You chatted to him and said, who are you looking at? I love it when the coaches actually give you a name on air in that situation. And he said, well, there's a guy out there for Utah, Stanton Kidd. And he kind of just does a little bit of everything that they need, right? He's a low-maintenance guy. He calls himself that. He is a good defender. He can knock down the open. He's not a sharpshooter by any stretch of the imagination, but he can knock it down. He's got a good level of athleticism. He's a guy that should be able to, just like Carrick Felix did, slide into the roster, integrate pretty quickly, and help them out. He's already has some history with Dean Vickerman, coached him at that Worldwide Invitational in Las Vegas a couple of years ago, and was legitimately on the Utah roster at the start of the year, played against the Adelaide 36ers in Salt Lake City. So he is going to help them a lot. And what's going to be interesting, and it's the same storyline as last year, is how things play out with Casey Prather's recovery and where the kid ends up playing in the playoffs.
It'll be interesting with Casey Prather because 2 years ago, when you break something, a bone, you kind of have a bit of an idea when it does heal. When you have something like, and the troubles you've had, I'm assuming have been fairly well related, the bleeding into the knee, maybe the top of the calf, the lower back spasms, into the hamstring, it's all related. And I think that makes it a little more complicated and less confident that if you pull the trigger on Casey Prather and give him an opportunity to play, that he's going to be holding up in the playoffs. With a broken elbow as it was now, of course, there's still risk. At least you have a fair idea via X-rays and MRIs that, hey, you know what? It's healed to a place. Now it's just about his confidence compared to the confidence in his body, which I think is going to be tough to do.
I had a dream last night.
Here we go.
Casey Prather texted me and said, I don't appreciate what you're saying about me. I will be back healthy, and I'll be back. That was my dream. So it's just funny enough that we're having this conversation.
It's like a Christmas carol.
Yeah.
The ghosts of NBL past.
That's crazy. Yeah, I had that dream. I woke up this morning, I was like, let me check my phone. I'm like, Casey doesn't have my number, but did he text me?
All right.
It was weird.
You know what? The show's a little loose.
That was weird.
We've had a little too much eggnog when we're talking about Homicide's dreams. Let's talk about the Illawarra Hawks because they have, and we'll talk more about their kids. Of course, Emmett Nah was brilliant on the weekend, didn't lead to that win. Glover, as you touched on a little bit earlier. Harris has come in and got some opportunities as well. And Sunday Detcher, we've continued to talk about, has gone to a whole new level in NBL 20. What does it all mean for NBL 21? Who is under contract? Who is going to be a free agent? Liam Santamaria, you're across that. Tell us how you think it looks going into the future for Illawarra.
Well, Sunday Deck signed a 2-year deal, so he's under contract for next year. Angus Glover, that man there on screen, he's under contract. This man, Emmett Nah, 17 points and 8 assists against New Zealand. Almost got them over the line. He signed a 3-year deal when he first signed on, but the final year, which is next year, is a mutual option. So with him playing this well, there's some renegotiations that need to take place. And if you're smart, and you're the Hawks, you're not going to have LaMelo Ball next year. Those renegotiations need to start happening right now if they haven't already.
Contracts have gone to a whole new level. There's not a player option and a team option. It's a mutual option.
Yeah, it's a mutual option.
So, that just means that, hey, he's going to stay.
No. It means...
Yeah, I think it will. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I think a mutual option is more skewed towards a team option than a player option.
Why? He can just opt out.
Yeah, he can opt out, but I believe that when the team sits down, he's going to play minutes. LaMelo's ball's not going to be there.
Right.
I think they'll be like, look, here's an opportunity for 12 months. Because I don't think he'll start anywhere else in the league.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the imports are structured in the point guards. I think there's an opportunity here for him to stay next year. So I think in this particular case, maybe not always, a mutual option is probably skewed towards the team option more than the player option.
Yeah, maybe. But... if they're...
Hey, I'm not a journalist, and Liam's pretty half-assed, so he might be onto something here.
No. If they're smart, though. I mean, teams in this situation, if they're smart, if they have an interest in bringing the guy back, get it done before free agency opens. Get it done now. And so those conversations would have to be happening. Greeder is an interesting one because, as we know, he's in a contract year as well. But... geez, he hasn't really blown up this year or gone to another level like we thought he might. So whether they do that early or not will be interesting. But this team, with the imports, these are 2 imports that they've just brought in, not playing much, these young kids blossoming in front of our eyes, this is the team I wanted to see throughout the second half of this year. Now, hopefully LaMelo can get back out on the floor and get amongst that and be part of it. But it's fun watching these young guys do their thing.
When I see Greeder, I think of like a Wagstaff kind of player. Like a Redditch. Gritty, down and dirty, athletic, can get to the basket, will shoot, even though he isn't shooting at a high clip. But I see him like those type of players and to play that kind of role. He's athletic enough to where he can play tough defense on the perimeter. And something just came to me a while ago. I won't say it.
Was it a dream or was it in real life?
It was just something just came to me a while ago.
You won't say it?
No.
Of course, this show is all about saying things that
I can't say it right now, but something just came to my head.
Can you give us a hint? Is it about Daniel Greeder or is it something else?
It's about Greeder. I don't know. It's just some kind of intuition just hit me. See, I paused for a minute. I was like,
You're on a real spiritual deep level.
I am. I don't know, for some reason, like I see this kid. I like him.
I like how...
Hang on. Maybe it's the spirit.
Maybe it's the set. It's sort of turned
Maybe.
into a fireside chat, hasn't it?
So we just spent a minute waiting for you to tell us something you're not going to tell us about that came to you a little while ago.
I feel something different about this kid. Like something's going to happen in this off season. And I don't know anything about any movements. I never really do. Everything I do say is wrong when it comes to movements. I said Sean Livingston was going to show up signed in Perth. Completely wrong. So the things I'm saying could be completely wrong, but for some reason I see this kid in like a Wildcats uniform. I don't know why.
Don't tell me that the man who rang you, who has an office next to the Perth Wildcats office in Perth.
That was the same guy that said Sean Long was going to Perth.
Yeah.
You know, so trust me, everything I'm saying is wrong, but you know, it's just a feel. Like he reminds me, like kind of like he could fit in to that slot.
You know he's Western Australia.
But they have that guy there, the young guy that they just signed. What's
Travis?
Wani.
Oh, which
Travis.
one?
Those two. So it ain't gonna happen. It just came to me.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, I just spoke on what I felt.
We've had a hell of a weird moments on
Which
this
ain't
show
always the
last
right
15
thing to
months,
do. But
that last 2 minutes might be almost the weirdest. So you had a dream and then you had a thought and you can't tell us really about the second one. Either way, what have your merry men and women of Little Helpers been helping you over this weekend with?
Santa's watching. Hey, I got a little surprise for Santa's watching. Let's
Another one.
Yeah, let's roll the. Yeah, look at it! Check it out. Santa's watching. Hey, we're gonna start in Adelaide. This was a gold mine. What?
oh yeah, what
What body
Moore
part
doing?
is Ramon Moore trying to dribble the ball with here exactly? Can you explain this to me? He's like, I like it, Ramon.
Get that out of here.
We know Jack McVeigh's the energy guy.
Yeah.
A little bit too much energy here. He's like, look at Griffin. He's like, come on, Jack. How much does Billy Preston
Love
like
the
the camera? down 12. Last minute, whatever. He's also wearing his shorts backwards
No.
every game.
Nah, but
Who wins, John Chapman or the mascot?
mascot.
No love for John Chapman.
I just think the mascot's athletic.
Keep an eye on Tyrell Harrison in the corner and Sean Bruce. Whack!
Oh.
Have another look. Tyrell Harrison, the three's down. Yeah, boy, smack.
Oh, jeez, that would have hurt.
Tarangi, you can't do that, mate. Just throw it to him in the backcourt. And Jason Tate, you probably shouldn't do that. And he's like, my bad, let's get back on D.
I love that. My bad. He's got a 10-foot high.
He's like, we're probably best get back on D, fellas.
All right. Hashtag see incredible. Hashtag NBL overtime to get involved. And of course, at Liam_Santa, is it? And of course. Did you find any of those clips yourself, or was it the people on Twitter? See, what actually hurts?
Actually, we usually have a little credit there in the corner to shout them out, and there wasn't there this week. But much love to all the helpers.
You know what you need to do? You need to tell them to send you via DM. So it's not so public and we know what's coming.
They're coming in all kinds of different platforms.
They most certainly are. All right. Hey, big weekend ahead of us, and it is headlined by the Boxing Day game that should have chain nets. I'm pushing this. I will continue to push this, and I'm going to take this to the game on Thursday night. But Cairns in town to take on Melbourne United, and we've all been to the open air game before, and
Incredible.
Really, if you're at home and you've never been before, get there. There's a couple of tickets left. It is incredible. The roof opens. It's a huge extravaganza, and no better way to start this round over the festive season.
I am looking forward to that Boxing Day game. The open air game, the atmosphere, the roof is not there.
It's not there.
It's just an incredible vibe in that venue, and that's the game I am most looking forward to.
Saturday, December 28th, Sydney, the rematch with the Wildcats. We remember what happened when the Kings went to the jungle a few weeks ago, and they get a chance to have another crack at that. And also Cairns hosting the Phoenix on New Year's Eve. It's always a good party in the tropics on the final day of the year, and it's a bit of a revenge game for them after dropping that one to Southeast Melbourne and John Robertson last week.
Give you a little hint too, double overtime. Check it over the next couple of days at NBL, because we go a little looser, and I'll tell you this, how there's not a Christmas Day NBL game right now is one of the most disappointing things in my life.
Damn.
First world problems.
First world problems. That's also true. I don't have a great deal going on. It's been a very lonely festive season. All right. Hey, did you know Shaq's coming?
Yeah, the Shaq is coming. You know, Latrobe Financial
There it
Shaq
is.
Tour. I am super excited. Liam, I got him covered.
Looking forward
Cam,
to it.
you got a whole lot of butt kissing if you want better
I got
tickets than
tickets,
what you have.
You know, I got like...
You don't have the tickets that we have.
I got 200 DMs last week after I said I needed a date, and people are hitting me up saying, hey, do you still need a date? And to everyone who hit me up, firstly, thank you. Secondly, You're probably all the wrong gender.
Okay.
But no, keep it coming anyway. But hey, from everyone here at NBL Overtime, both us three and everyone out the back, have a very wonderfully Merry Christmas. Good job, my man.
Merry Christmas.
Have a dream. Thank you, Santa.
Merry
Thank you for the
Christmas.
presents.
Yep.
#See Incredible. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you next week.
Merry Christmas.
Peace.